I really like workshops because it gives you the chance to dive a lot into a specific topic and to really go through practical examples and to really make it a lot more interactive. So I really liked working with a small audience on a specific topic. But I also like talks because they give you the chance to talk about something with a larger audience and to kind of increase the impact of whatever you're trying to communicate across. So I like both for different reasons. But yeah, we had a great time at the workshop yesterday. Had a lot of really good questions yesterday at the workshop, which was amazing to see. Really broad audience, which is super nice. So had designers, product people, engineers, quite a lot of engineers. So yeah, it's great. And I haven't been in Timișoara in a lot of years, and I haven't really experienced like the product scene in Romania. So yeah, it's been exciting to do that. I think one of my insights from the workshop is to really be very explicit with what we're going to do and the stage we're at. So because we had some people at the workshop that were at different stages in terms of what experimentation have they done in the past. Some had some experience, some had no experience. So how to make sure that the workshop is really valuable for everybody at different stages, depending on where they're at in their experimentation process. So that's definitely something I want to think about again in the future. I would say I actually had a conversation with some of the other speakers yesterday at dinner, and there isn't a lot of formal education for product management. So there aren't, at least to my knowledge, or at least a few years ago when I was getting into product, there weren't any bachelor degrees or master's degrees for product management. There's a lot of boot camps nowadays. There's a lot of informal educational programs that you can find online. So it's really good to be able it's really good to take advantage of those. But I would say that so much experience can be translated into product management. So I actually had a conversation with some people that are taking part in a product management bootcamp, and a lot of them were founders. And I think as a founder, you need to do a lot of the things that you need to do as a product manager. So if you're able to draw from that past experience as a startup founder, for example, whether your startup failed or succeeded, it doesn't even matter, and you're trying to break into product, you can find ways to translate that experience across. And also to communicate how your founder experience is relevant in a product role when you're applying for product roles. So I think a lot of people are closer to being able to get into product than they think. They just need to find ways and how they can leverage past experiences, whether that's product design or startup founder experience, and use that to get into product. Most of the product managers that I know don't have a formal product education. And to your previous question, one of the advice I would also give to people that want to break into product is to start in a company that has a strong product function and to do a lateral move into product. It's much easier for somebody to do that. Even at my company, we have a lot of people that moved from a support role into product, which might sound a bit unconventional, or from marketing into product, but it actually happens quite a bit. So the advantages of that is that when you come from the same company and you're moving into product, you already know the team, you understand the product, you understand your industry really well. So even though you're not coming from a product background, you can much more easily move into product within the same company. So a lot of people that I know, their first product roles, including mine, I moved from a different department into product at the same company instead of applying for a dedicated product role at a new company. So I think great product companies recognize this. So they don't see the lack of a formal product education as a barrier. And they're helping grow product managers from internally, even if they come from a different department. I love what you're doing with Prow, and I used to both host and facilitate a lot of startup weekends and fuck-up nights and all sorts of community-driven initiatives around entrepreneurship. And I really loved those years and when I was doing that. And I think I've learned so much from others throughout my product journey until now. And I think it's amazing to be able to help kind of like share some of my experiences, and the same with every other speaker here as well, with an audience that is like at the beginning of their product journey. So yeah, I think it's incredible, and that's obviously the reason why I wanted to come and participate as well. I've learned a lot of things the hard way, and it took a lot of mistakes and a lot of failures along the way, and you don't need to go through the same journey. So if you're able to learn from others' mistakes, it's a much better way to get to where you want to go. And I definitely would love to get more involved with hosting meetups, for example, for product managers or aspiring product managers, and to put more content out there in general. So Medium posts or that sort of thing. So product management is a very broad topic, and it's easy to feel very overwhelmed when you think about going into product and seeing how many different types of things you need to be familiar with and understand to a certain level. But it definitely becomes a lot less daunting once you start doing it. And there's a lot of different ways you can begin that journey, and you can start learning about product management. And if you're already on that path, there's so many resources like Prow as well to be able to help you accelerate your development. And what I would say is there's some really good, I can try to find some links and add them to notes in case there's notes to the video or so, but there's some really good frameworks for product for the professional development path of product managers, and different competency areas that are important for product managers in general, and then also seeing what type of product manager do you want to be, and that depends quite a bit on the type of product, the industry you're working in, but also on your skills and your interests. So not all product managers are alike, and it's important to identify what you're really good at, what your strengths are, and what type of product management do you actually want to do. So if you're working on a B2B product versus B2C product, chances are it will look very different. If you're working on an internal product versus an external customer-facing product, what you'll do in your day-to-day will be different. So understanding the different types of product management and what skill sets and competencies each of those require is important. And I've only discovered a lot of that late in my product journey so far, and it's really good to think about those from the beginning, so then you know what you should specialize yourself a bit more into, because it can be very, very broad. So the more you can narrow it down to a specific type of product management, the better. The best way to really understand what a different type of product management would imply, and if it suits you better, is to talk to somebody that does that. So finding people including people that you might interview with. So if you're trying to change industries, for example, so you're going from a consumer product to, I don't know, let's say you're getting into fintech. It's really hard to understand how product management within a fintech space looks like. It's much more regulated. I actually worked in fintech in the past, and there's a lot of things that I didn't fully understand and wrap my mind around until I actually got into this industry. But you can also talk to people that are already within that industry to understand, including the people that are hiring for product manager roles at a company that you might be interested to apply to. So even in your interview process, it's really important to ask the right questions, and it also signals to the person that is interviewing you that you have an interest in this, and you are switching industries for the right reason, and that you're also able to do that because you have some competencies that make you a good candidate for that particular industry. So yeah.